What's going on, guys? It's Lance here, and today we're going to be fixing cracked leather seats in my Lexus. We're going to be using a lot of cleaning supplies and a lot of paint, so stick around to see how they come out. So for the first course of action, you're going to want to push your seats all the way back to expose these two front nuts up here. They will be covered with these plastic things on either side, but trust me, pop them off. They will not break no matter how hard you try. Do the same thing for the back. Once you push the seats up, seats are up. You want to do the same thing to the back. There's going to be these two plastic pieces covering them over. You can just pop them off, no big deal. Now what you want to do is you want to grab a bit that fits your torque wrench or any other kind of wrench to take these bolts out. I know as a fact that mine is this 9/16 inch bit right here. Now loosen these bolts. They might be a little bit hard to loosen depending on how tight the car manufacturer put them in. Bolt 2 is done as well. Make sure you don't mix up the bolts just in case they're different sizes. I'm probably going to write down on a piece of paper what these are and tape them to it just so they don't get mixed up. Now you're going to want to do the same exact things for these two bolts back here. Now there's going to be some wires that you have to disconnect. Oh, where did this marker come from? Okay. There's going to be some wires you want to disconnect that are going to be attaching the seat to the car so it can get power for the power seats and all that kind of fun stuff. For my particular model of car, I figured it is easier just to lift the seats up like this. Once you disconnect the bolts and find all the Doritos and all that kind of fun stuff that are under your seat. The first thing you have to do for this yellow one right here, you pull back this little latch. It's like a little, not really sure what to call it. It's a spring joint. Pull it back, and that unclips this right here. Now for this third clip right here is a little bit more difficult. You're just gonna pull down on this latch right here. You can see there's a, let me focus it. There's a little tab right here. You pull this and then pull it out, and it works perfectly. You're gonna want to tilt the chair sideways. It makes it a lot easier to get out. Chair's out of the car. Before you put your seat down, I would totally recommend putting a piece of cardboard down on top of whatever surface you're doing this on, just so it doesn't scratch the floor or the table that you're working on. As you can see, my seat looks a little bit worn and faded out. There's a lot of cuts and stuff on the edges, and it's all peeling. So what we're going to attempt to clean this, first thing we have to do, of course, is clean the whole entire seat, make sure there's no blemishes or anything sticking out. So when we spray our first coat of paint on, it doesn't drip or leave any stains or any of that fun stuff. See, I'm gonna be using this leather spray right here, 3-in-1 spray. It's Reupholstering Garage stuff right here. I'm using Leuxs All Leather Cleaner as well. And I'm going to be using Ultimate Cleaner and Conditioner by Weatherlight. I used this one before. It's pretty decent, and I like the way that it smells, so that's always a good thing. On top of that, we need painter's tape to tape in the edges so you don't spray in. And you're also going to tape up the top right up here so you don't spray on these as well. So the first step to cleaning the seat is you want to make sure there's no loose debris or residue of anything that you left on the seat previously, so it doesn't get into the seat and create more issues than you need. So you're just going to do one brief wipe down on the whole entire seat. Make sure there's no dirt or crumbs inside the seat cavities. I have a lot of sand and all that kind of stuff. Just a dry wipe. Just like that. Next thing that I'm going to use the Leuxs All Leather Cleaner. You don't want to put it directly onto the seat itself. You're going to put it on one of your microfibers. Just a little bit. Probably have to open it first, that would help a lot.
Okay.
A little bit on one of your microfibers. Make sure to shake it up a little bit first as well. Like that. you look at your microfiber, you'll notice that all the dirt is coming off, which is always a good thing. Make sure that you're covering the entire seat. Now what you'll notice is as you're doing this, you're going to see a lot more of the cracks defined in your seat. This is because you're removing all the dirt that's been building up from inside of them, and it's opening them a little bit more clearly for you to see them. Perfect. Alright, so once you're done with this rag and that, you want to toss the rag to the side because you don't want to use that again for this, this install. The next step of this install is that we're going to use this Ultimate Cleaner and Conditioner Leather Light. Now I'm going to take this brush off to start just because it's a lot easier to go around with just the brush and not this. This is going to turn into a foam type of thing. And I personally find that foam does a lot of better job because it gets inside the cracks a lot better. So start in this first section of the seat here. Grab a new rag, of course. Okay, that looks good to me. And you're going to want to just wipe it away. And you'll see at first, it does a really, really decent job of collecting the rest of the dirt. Now you're going to do 2 over on each part of the seat, and the second time you're going to use the brush. Okay, now you're going to grab a dry rag and wipe the seat down with all the leftover resin. Now for the last step while cleaning it, you're going to want to take your 3-in-1 leather spray. Done. Now you've successfully cleaned your entire seat and prepped it for painting. But what we haven't done yet is sand it down. The reason why you sand it is that you want to create a flat surface for the paint to stick to. Now I'm using 220 extra fine Gator sandpaper. You don't really want to push too hard with this, you just want to get the edges off all of the cracks. What I do with it here. First step to doing all this is of course reading the directions. Now I know a lot of us are not that fond of reading directions, But in this case, it must be done in order to ensure that we don't mess up our seats. Okay, so open up the kit, and here it comes with a sterile alcohol pad. We probably will not end up needing that. Hi, neighbor. She waved at me. That's a good thing. So, I think this is the leather mender, but we don't really need this. We just need the filler. Okay, so let's open this fun stuff. Is this open? Alright, so now I'm going to start to fill these cracks. Make sure you grab the little spatula that it came with, of course, because that always helps. This is waterproof stuff, which helps a lot. And you're only going to seal the bigger ones. Only these like bigger cracks and stuff. Now if you get any in between the cracks, just wipe it out in a bit. So now I'm actually going to take a blow dryer and go over it just so it dries a little bit faster, and then we can get to the rest of the process. As you can see, it's actually starting to dry up and fill some of those cracks there. Once it does that, we're going to sand it down, and then we're probably going to put on one more coat. So for paint, I actually went online and I went to Leather World Technologies and I got the exact paint that matches my seat. If you want to find the exact paint that matches your seat, you have to go online and look up your VIN number, which will be in your door panel or on your engine or something like that. This is actually Ecru leather, ECRU leather. So I went online to Leather World Technologies right here and I bought the exact same color paint. I also bought an airbrush kit just so you can airbrush it on. I feel like it'll be a lot easier to get in the spots and the cracks and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm going to start the painting process. You don't want to hold the airbrush too close to the seat because that will create spots and all that kind of stuff. You're going to hold it about a little bit under a foot away and just spray light coats. And eventually it'll start to fill those cracks even more and you'll get that smooth finish, and it'll also cover the cracks as well. So I'm going to be using a paintbrush just to fill in a little bit of the cracks and stuff, the ones that I didn't cover that well. Just get a little paint on the paintbrush and just try and get it inside of the cracks. That works really well. When you're painting the cracks, go against the grain, don't go with the grain, because if you go against the grain, it lifts up the crack a little bit, so you have a little bit better leverage to get under it with the paint. Okay, so now we're ready for coat number 2. And I just sat on a paint-filled towel. Nice job. Okay, so now that the second coat is done, you're going to want to go over it, fill the cracks again with the paint, and leave it to dry for a little bit. Okay, so now it's time for coat 3. Okay, so I'm actually probably a little under halfway through completing the seat. I'm giving a review on this right now. I'm not sponsored by them, but I do want to say that this color matches the seat absolutely perfectly. Leather World Technologies killed it with this ecru color, and I'm just really happy with the way that the seat's turning out. I'll put a before and after picture of the seat on my when I edit the video, but right now this looks absolutely fantastic, and it's not even close to being done. So great job, Leather World Technologies. Okay, so how it stands now, got like 2-3 more coats left. I'm going to paint over some of the extra cracks, and then we're going to be all done. The seat is turning out just the way I expected it to. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. It's a little bit tedious, I know, but the work in the end does pay off. So at this point, I just left it for about an hour or two to dry up, and the seat looks fantastic. I just touched up one of those spots over there, so it's still a little bit wet. The seat looks awesome. Okay, and there you have it. The seat is now complete. Completely clean, completely sprayed, completely filled. In addition to doing this, you can also seal it. I'm not going to seal it for the time being because I don't have sealant. I might end up going to the store to get a little bit of sealant and just going over it once with some UV protectant sealant so it doesn't allow the leather to crack again. But overall, I'm very impressed with how well this paint worked. It matched it perfectly. And yeah, the seat looks fantastic. To put the seat back in, it's pretty much the same exact thing as taking it out. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. If you liked it, drop a like, subscribe. I need subscribers because I only got like 5 or something right now. It's like me and my family. It's kind of sad, but yeah. So I'm really happy with these results once again. Thank you for watching and stay tuned for more.